Vusimuzi Cat Matlala spent 3 days in front of the Madlanga Commission this week, Monday to Wednesday, and he refused to answer a long list of questions. You know that part. It was in every headline. But here is the part that was not in the headlines. By the afternoon of the third day, Matlala told the Commission, on the record, that his refusals had nothing to do with incriminating himself.
On this line of questions, you're not claiming a privilege against self-incrimination. You are refusing to answer the question because you say it will compromise your defense strategy. Am I correct? That's the position you've adopted?
Yes, you're correct.
Thank you.
So for 3 days, a man who is already charged, already arrested, already sitting in CMAX, kept his mouth shut about other people. And the commissioner said so to his face. That is what this video is about. This video covers 3 days, so it's not going to be short. Before we start, I would like to hear your comments about these 3 days. Even if you feel what you have to say is unimportant, it helps me understand what is important to you so I can improve future videos. Thank you to every subscriber who supports this channel. It is always appreciated. And if you are new here, I'm Riaan Roux, and this is the Riaan Roux Show. Start on Monday, the 24th of August. Matlala's lead counsel, Annelien van der Jefer, was ill and not in the room. Her juniors asked for the day to be postponed. Madlanga refused. Madlanga asked a straight question. If I make you argue this now, what happens? Advocate Missy answered that the entire legal team would withdraw, counsel and attorneys, all of them. Commissioner Baloyi pushed her on it twice. Is that your instruction from Mr. Matlala? Missy said yes, twice. Even the senior attorney came to the microphone and confirmed it.
Mr. Matlala, I just want to get an idea whether you two confirm that after your counsel or legal representatives were afforded an opportunity to consult with you, what was agreed upon is that if my direction is that we go ahead with your application, they will then withdraw as your legal representatives.
Chair, we had 3 scenarios, so I'm actually in the dark now because while I was having lunch, I didn't have enough time to conclude what we've been discussing, so we just came right straight here. So I do not know whether my legal counsel, what they are saying now is what comes from Mrs. van der Jefer as instruction or not. So I'm actually in the dark. I don't know what to say.
So basically, you are not really party to what has been announced.
No, we've discussed the options, yes, but I haven't had the time to make up my own mind. So,
all right, maybe the best is for me to announce the decision. Having considered everything that has been presented to the Commission, my decision is to go ahead to hear Mr. Matlala's application. That's the decision.
The whole position collapsed in one sentence from the client. Baloyi told Missy it was deeply problematic that she had put it firmly as her instructions and now had to go back and discuss it. After the break, Matlala asked them to stay on. The application was dropped. He would claim privilege question by question instead.
Miss Missy, what's happening now is deeply problematic. I asked you directly, is it your instructions from Mr. Matlala? You said yes. That's deeply problematic.
There was one more thing that morning. Matlala's team told the Commission that prison rules were making it impossible to consult with him properly. At 11:36 that morning, Advocate Hassim read a message into the record from the Area Commissioner of Correctional Services, Commissioner Khoza. Khoza said the facts provided are not true. and that the team consulted for 3 days, and that the head of the centre denied creating any disadvantage.
The relevant part of the message is facts provided are not true. I am not even aware of the challenges advanced to the Commission. I think the challenges that were complained of. And then the next message, they consulted for 3 days, and we are prepared to make concessions anytime because we understand the importance of the Commission. I checked with the head of the centre, Mr. Kabengu, on all these challenges. He also denied to have created any disadvantage to them. So that's a message from the Area Commissioner Khoza.
Madlanga declined to choose between the two versions. Now to the thing that shaped all 3 days. Every time Matlala was asked something he did not want to answer, he pointed to his Section 204 statement. Now let me explain what this is in plain language, because it is the centre of this whole story. Matlala did a deal with the state on the SAPS health contract. He agreed to plead. As part of that negotiation, he signed a sworn statement setting out what he knew, and that statement named senior police officers. The court looked at the deal and offered a heavier sentence than the one agreed. The law gave him a choice: accept it or walk away. And on the 13th of July 2026, he walked away. The moment he did that, the plea deal and the statement that came with it both fell over. The NPA spokesperson said it publicly. Nothing in that plea can be used. The Commission played the clip in the room, with Matlala sitting there to listen to it.
Yeah, definitely, because now the plea has been deemed to be null and void. Nothing that was in that plea can be used.
So the document he kept hiding behind cannot be used against him in the trial he says he is protecting. Commissioner Baloyi put it to his counsel as clearly as it can be put. He cannot have his cake and eat it. He cannot say the answer is in the 204, and in the same breath say, you may not look at the 204.
Mr. Matlala can't have his cake and eat it. He can't invoke the Section 204 affidavit when he's required to answer questions. He can't say, it's in the Section 204 affidavit, and so I don't want to deal with it. And then at the same time, say you can't look at the Section 204.
Baloyi went further. If a witness can do that, then every witness can sit in that chair and say the answer is in a document you are not allowed to see. And that is the end of every question you will ever ask. Madlanga then set the rule that governed the rest of the week. He took Matlala to a Constitutional Court judgment by Justice Jafta and told him there would be no more blanket claims. Name the crime. Show how the question touches it. Then claim your privilege.
The proper approach for Mr. Matlala is, in accordance with paragraph 109 of the Constitutional Court judgment, to refer to a specific crime. The paragraph says so. And say, because of that specific crime, this is how that question impinges on my privilege, and therefore I assert the privilege.
That rule is why the next 2 days went the way they did. The first name Matlala fought hardest to avoid was Lieutenant General Shadrach Sibiya. He had been asked in writing to explain his relationship with Sibiya. He did not answer it in his first statement, and he did not answer it in his supplementary statement either. Commissioner Khumalo picked that up and would not let it go. And under pressure, he gave the outline. He first went to see Sibiya about a lease dispute over a hospital at the SAPS College in Pretoria West. He went back for feedback. He was at an engagement party for one of Sibiya's children.
In relation to General Sibiya, you don't even say you know him. You don't even say you have a history with him.
Okay.
And that is separate from whatever issues are being investigated and may be the subject of criminal proceedings. So I would expect you to please answer the question, what is your history and relationship with General Sibiya? And then at a stage where you need to assert your privilege, you may do so. But I cannot accept that you are not even able to say, I know the person.
I understand, Commissioner. So I will say I know him because at some point I went to his office to make a complaint about the occupation of the lease agreement that I had with Public Works. So that is the first time that I got to know of him.
And there is a detail in that outline that is worth more than everything around it. He never once contacted Sibiya himself. Every meeting, every callback, every arrangement went through Sergeant Nkosi.
I sent him an email.
Okay.
And then requested for a meeting. And his email address was given to me by Sergeant Nkosi.
Nkosi gave him the email address. Nkosi made the calls. Nkosi set up the meetings. Advocate Sello asked the obvious question. If Sibiya was investigating the disappearance of Jerry Boshoga, why could a general in the South African Police Service not simply phone Matlala himself? Matlala said he does not know.
If he was an investigator in this Mr. Boshoga's disappearance, shouldn't he have contacted you directly? Isn't that what investigators do? Couldn't you have obtained your number from Mr. Nkosi and say, I, as a general in the police service, I need to talk with Mr. Matlala for whatever reason, because I'm investigating a kidnapping. Why couldn't he contact you directly?
That I cannot answer. I don't know that.
On Boshoga itself, he did eventually answer, once the Medicare Shield was ruled out. He said Sibiya asked for the meeting and asked what he knew. He said Sibiya told him that if he can crack that case, it will help him a lot. Then Matlala gave his own account of what he did when Boshoga went missing. He said he went to Boshoga's house with Boshoga's brother. He said the brother told him to ask Boshoga's wife for the phone and to tell her it was going for investigation, and that he did exactly that. Take note, that is his account given under oath at a commission, and it is untested.
Jerry's brother said to me, I must ask Jerry's wife to give me Jerry's cell phone, because should she find out that there is Jerry's side chick's number in that phone, she will go crazy. And then she said I must lie to her and say this phone is going for investigation. And I did that.
And are you able to say what was the outcome of that engagement? Because it's not clear whether he was talking to you or with you in his capacity as an investigator, having taken over the investigation, or purely as a senior police officer where others are investigating that kidnapping.
What he said to me is, he said to me that if he can crack that case, it will help him a lot. So I will assume that he was doing that as a police officer, obviously, because if he wanted to be the one maybe to crack that case, then he wanted to know what do I know about it, since Jerry was my friend.
He also contradicted Sibiya. Sibiya told this commission he was only at that engagement party to fetch his wife. Madlanga put it to Matlala that his own evidence to Parliament says otherwise, that he was there as an invited guest and stayed. Matlala did not dispute it. And then when Sello pressed him on what he actually discussed with Sibiya, he changed the reason. He said he did not want to disclose his defense strategy. Sello told him what the law says. Fear of disclosing your defense is not a privilege recognized anywhere.
The only basis to refuse to answer a question is if you establish a privilege contemplated in Section 3(4), which is a privilege as recognized in law, and fear to disclose your defense as not one such privilege. So if that is the only basis, then you do not bring yourself within the ambit of the protection, because that does not constitute privilege, and you will be compelled to answer. You are raising a wrong basis to refuse to answer. It's not an acceptable basis, as determined by the law.
Madlanga agreed and made the point that if it were, any witness could say it about anything. That was day one hold on to the phrase defense strategy, because it comes back on Wednesday and it changes everything. On Monday, Matlala promised the Commission a document that would prove he is a suspect. On Tuesday, the 25th, they read it. What he handed over was an order of the Special Tribunal granted in September 2025 on application by the Special Investigating Unit. It freezes assets across 78 respondents. Hangwani Morgan, Maumela, is cited 3 times in it, including in his own name. Matlala is not a respondent. He is not cited anywhere. His companies do appear in an annexure listing 39 entities that the order collectively calls the Maumela Syndicate. Black AK Trading Suppliers, Korkabeng Trading and Suppliers, Falcon Cat Trading and Suppliers. Madlanga took him through the paragraph line by line and showed him what it actually asks for. It asks the respondents to disclose what they own inside other people's companies. It does not put those other companies under investigation. Madlanga gave him an example from the room, wanting to know whether Ms. van den Heever holds an interest in Commissioner Baloy's company does not make Baloy's company a suspect.
Nothing here suggests that you yourself are being investigated. Would you agree with it?
I agree.
Thank you.
Matlala accepted it. He agreed the document does not show that he is under investigation. Commissioner Khumalo then caught something else. When the Commission first asked Matlala to list his companies, he named 3. 2 of the companies in that annexure were not among them. Matlala said they were deregistered. Khumalo pointed out the order is dated September 2025, which suggests they still existed.
They are deregistered?
Yes.
When were they deregistered?
Long time ago, I don't remember when, long time ago.
Because this judgment or this order of the tribunal is dated 25 September 2025, and it suggests to me that they still existed in September 2025.
Yeah, but with a quick search, we can verify that these companies are being registered, Commissioner.
All right. Thank you.
By that point, Matlala was reduced to saying that newspaper articles say he is under investigation and admitting that no investigator has ever approached him about it. He went looking during the tea break and came back with an article by the man who was then head of the SIU and is now the National Director of Public Prosecutions. The same thing happened with the recordings. Matlala had said all week that police recordings of his interrogation put him at risk. Selo read a letter from the Director of Public Prosecutions dated the 6th of March 2026 to Matlala's own attorneys. It says nothing in that whole interview forms part of any police document before the court because it is not relevant and it is not evidence against him. Matlala said he is not aware of it.
My question to you regarding those recordings, has the NPA ever given you an assurance that matters recorded in those recordings do not currently form part of, are not subjects of any investigations? Are you aware?
No, I'm not aware of that,
Okay.
Commissioner.
Once the shield was gone, Selo asked him about Maumela. They met around 2015 at a restaurant in Sandton that they both used over a shared interest in sports cars. Matlala accepted they are friends. The business took 3 attempts and a tea break to explain. This was very confusing, so I'm going to try and explain it as best I can. The 2 of them would put their own money into a supplier's bank account. Matlala's example was R1 million each. Whichever one of them won a quote, a RFQ, from the Gauteng Department of Health would draw stock against that credit, supply it, and once the department paid, put the money back and hand over the other man 10% of the profit. There was no written agreement between him and Maumela. There was no written agreement with the supplier. The supplier was one man running 2 companies, and Matlala could only remember the name of one of them. He said the arrangement ran from about 2018 to 2023. He could not say how much money went through it in total.
I'm going to suggest this, Mr. Matlala. I think you are doing this deliberately. You less than 2 years ago, you won a 360 million contract from SAPS. And that you can't have executed that contract with this understanding where we struggle to understand from you about money and transactions and suppliers, and it cannot be. You are doing this deliberately so that we go round and round in circles. Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Sello lost patience with him. She told him she thought he was doing it deliberately, and made the point that a man who won a 360 million rand contract from the police in 2024 cannot be this confused about money. Matlanga's observations is the one that counts. He told Matlala that nothing in that arrangement, as described, points to a crime. And with no crime, there is nothing to claim privilege over. So, think about what that leaves on the record. Millions of rands moving into public health procurement between two men on a handshake, with nothing written down and no way to check who benefited. Matlala told this commission that the late taxi boss, Jotham Msibi, was purely a security client, nothing more. Then they opened the chats taken off Msibi's phone, an aircraft purchase agreement sent to Matlala by Msibi for a jet imported from an Angolan company. Matlala says he wanted to buy an aircraft.
There were some guys who were selling an aircraft, yes, and then I was very interested.
You were interested in buying the aircraft?
Yes.
A proposal for a Cat VIP lounge at OR Tambo, which Matlala sent to Msibi to show him what he was working on. Msibi's wedding in 2022.
Titled Wedding Package 2022. You, at chat 3, you give a number and you say Mawetu bodyguard, and then you give the name of Cordelia Matlala. At chat 5, you explain that's my wife, Baba. And Mr. Msibi responds at chat 6, cool son. Then if we go over leaflet 117, chat 2, you say just deposit 350K. I'll take care of the rest, Baba. You see that? To which he responds, at chat 3, will do tomorrow.
Just deposit 350K. I will take care of the rest, Baba. Msibi called him son. He called Msibi Baba. And then the payments. On the 22nd of September 2023, Msibi asks, must I send the Nedbank one? Matlala answers that Nedbank is proof of payment, that this is what he wanted to show, and that this one is the account Morgan sent to deposit money to. On the same day, he forwards 4 Nedbank payment notifications, one for 1.3 million rand, one for 200,000 rand, one that Sello read as looking like 3 million rand, and one for 500,000 rand. The recipient on every one of them is a man called Agrippa Khoza. The reference on every one of them is M. Maumela. The paying account holders are 2 companies, and Matlala says he does not know either of them. Sello then took away the one thing he was relying on. The reference on a payment tells you nothing about who paid it. So Matlala was left saying he does not remember the payments, does not remember sending them, and does not know who Agrippa Khoza is. Baloyi told him it is unbelievable that he has no recollection whatsoever, and pointed out that on that very same day, he was telling Msibi which account Maumela had nominated.
There is no scenario, plausible scenario, where you have absolutely no recollection of how a total of nearly 3 million rand, you have absolutely no recollection of how it came about that you are sharing. You're the one that's forwarding payment notifications to Mr. Msibi. It's just unbelievable, I must say, that you have no recollection whatsoever. On the same day, it's the same day of those payments. You say, this one is the account Morgan sent to deposit money into. So on that day, you, Mr. Msibi and Mr. Maumela are discussing monies and payments of monies. That should jog your memory, what it was about. But
Matlala said he had nothing to say, and that the honest truth is he does not remember.
I have nothing to say, Commissioner, but The honest truth is I do not remember.
That's your answer. Thank you.
By the end of that hour, he had conceded, narrowly, that he had dealings with Msibi beyond security. Then there was Steve Matsumi. Matlala got to know him properly at Msibi's wedding in 2022. In early 2024, Matsumi's company lent 5 million rand to Medicare 24 Tshwane. Matlala told the commission that there was a written loan agreement. On Tuesday, he corrected himself and said there is only an acknowledgement of debt. He repaid the 5 million rand between December 2024 and March 2025 in 4 payments out of 4 different companies of his. The interest was never paid. His explanation was that he got arrested. Khumalo established that he resigned as a director of Medicare 24 in December 2024, but kept his shares. And here is a part that I haven't seen reported anywhere. Through December 2024 and January 2025, Matlala kept visiting Matsumi at his home. The chats capture the access codes he was sent for the estate. The 12th of December, the 31st of December, the 5th of January, the 16th of January, and the 24th of January. He was asking Matsumi for 20 million rand for the SAPS contract. Then, on the 21st of February 2025, he sent Matsumi a copy of the letter Medicare had written to Lieutenant General Fani, responding to a demand from the police threatening to cancel the contract for non-performance. Salo asked him why he had sent it. Matlala said it was the reason he needed more money to fund the contract. So, he showed a man he was asking for 20 million rand the letter saying his contract was on the way out. And he did it while he was still repaying that same man's last 5 million rand. Wednesday the 26th of August belonged to Major General Lesetja Sanona and to Advocate Hasim. Matlala had left Sanona out of both of his statements completely. His reason was that police had served him with a document saying he and Sanona were being investigated for corruption. He kept calling those investigators the Madlanga task team. Hasim told him there is no such thing. Madlanga went further, and this is worth hearing, because a lot of people have this wrong.
That entity was wrongly or incorrectly named. It has nothing to do with Madlanga. It's SAPS that chose to name their task team, which they as SAPS are using to investigate matters that emanate from issues that were debated before the commission, or in respect of which the commission made referrals. That's SAPS 100%.
Madlanga said the unit was incorrectly named. It is SAPS. The commission makes referrals, and after that, SAPS acts as SAPS. He told Matlala he cannot send this commission to that task team because the commission has nothing to do with it. Baloyi then laid out the rule that Matlala spent the rest of the day running into. There are only 2 grounds in law for a witness to refuse a question: legal professional privilege between you and your lawyer, and the privilege against self-incrimination. Outside those 2, you are simply a witness refusing to answer, and that has consequences. So, what did he give up on Sanona? He met him at Sanona's wedding in Shoshanguve before 2020 and got closer at the funeral of Msibi's mother, sitting at the same table. He calls him a big brother. In the chats, he calls him Nduna.
And in your conversations with him in the WhatsApp chats, you describe him as Nduna.
I just refer to everybody as Nduna, just not only him.
Not just him, okay.
Yes.
But you've got a respectful and friendly relationship with him.
Yes, I do have.
When Sanona came to Pretoria, they met at Matlala's own apartment at Menlyn Main, and they carried on meeting until the day Matlala was arrested. The day after the police raided his house in December 2024, Sanona gave him 20,000 rand because his phones had been taken and he could not transact.
And I told him that, listen, they even took my phones. I cannot even make transaction. I even borrowed money from him.
Yes.
Yes, I remember that day he gave me 20,000 rands.
There is a thing Matlala kept calling our project and refused to describe. Madlanga finally named it for him. It was a plan for Matlala and Sonona's son Tato to buy an apartment in Menlyn worth somewhere between 2 and 3 million rand and rent it out. Matlala submitted Tato's identity documents to the estate agent. The purchase died when he was arrested. He refused to say who was going to pay for it. He refused to say whether Tato would own any of it. He refused to say whether the general himself would have any interest in it.
There's been evidence before us, I think, by General Sinona himself, that you and Mr. Tato Sinona intended to purchase an apartment for purposes of renting it out. Is the project you are referring to that project, or is it some other project?
Yes, I'm referring to that one.
All right, thank you.
In January 2025, Sonona wrote to him about finalizing a contract for the guys who assisted us. Matlala would not say what the contract was or who those men are. He said they are under investigation.
Okay, was there any agreement or draft agreement concerning that contract?
Advocate, they're taking me straight to the rabbit hole now. Part of this agreement is under investigation, so when you say the contract, I can't answer that because this is the exact same thing that I'm saying is under investigation.
Now look at what was traveling in the other direction. In January 2025, Matlala sent Sonona a screenshot out of an internal SAPS finance system showing where his company's payments stood. He got it from his head of operations, who got it from somebody in the finance section of the police. In February 2025, he sent Sonona a video clip of a meeting between his company and the police, in which General Nkua says that if nothing arrives by Monday, they close, and that she has already directed that the non-performance process must start.
I'm ready to take the case to the police on the 4th. So by Monday, if we haven't received anything, we close. We'll rather send members that are short, and that process of the non-performance by the service provider, that process I already directed that it must start.
Do you recognize the name of the speaker in that video?
If I'm not wrong, this should be General Nkoa.
Hasim asked him what he expected Sonona to do with any of it. Matlala said Sonona was someone that he shared his problems with. On the 14th of April 2025, the day before he met with the Provincial Police Commissioner in KwaZulu-Natal, Matlala wrote to Sonona, "O Nduna, please do not forget to ask our brother about the lady who is stirring problems." He confirmed the lady is General Nkua. He confirmed the brother is General Mkwanazi. Sonona sent back a thumbs up. And in May 2025, when the contract was finally cancelled and Matlala said his advocate had told him to interdict within 48 hours, Sonona wrote back, "Take them on, brother." Hasim asked him whether Sonona received any financial benefit out of that contract. Matlala said that is under investigation and refused to answer. This is the part of this week I want you to remember. The 10th of March 2025, General Sonona sent Matlala a police docket. More than 200 pages of it. It contains the complaint of a man called Ishmael Nangi. It contains his identity document, his marriage certificate, and photographs of it. It contains the names, ranks, and identity numbers of the police officers he laid the complaint against.
Do you recognize this document?
Yes, I do.
You remember receiving it at the time?
The time, I cannot recall the time, but receiving it, yes, I remember.
I mean, at that point in time,
Okay,
10 March.
Yes.
It runs to about more than 200 pages, but we're not going to go through all of the 200 pages.
Ismail Maulid Ramos Nangi.
And do you know him?
Yes, I do.
And this document contains affidavits and attachments that are part of this docket. Do you agree that? Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Matlala did not ask for it. Nangi lives in the same estate as Matlala in midstream. Their wives know each other because their children are at the same school. Sanona asked Matlala to speak to Nangi about withdrawing the charges. Hasim then read out who the complaint was against.
It begins with a Durban Metro police officer, and then it has a private individual who works at Vision Tactical, a Yassine Teba, and then Yakub Desai, also seems to be somebody who works in the private security industry. And then you've got Captain Enoch, who is with DPCI KZN. And then you've got a constable from SAPS. You've got Colonel Dawood from the anti-kidnapping unit. You have General Mkhonazi as the provincial police commissioner, and then another Colonel Dina Govender, who is with the DPCI KZN. So you'll see that the provincial Hawks members were involved in this arrest, right? That was General Sanona's team.
Those are Sanona's own people. So Wasim put it to him that the request was not made in Mkhonazi's interests at all. It was made in Sanona's. He accepted that getting Nangi to drop the complaint was an exchange, in return for Mkhonazi speaking to General Nkua about his purchase orders. So he went to his neighbor to ask him to withdraw. Nangi said he was willing. His brother-in-law was not.
He said to me he is willing to withdraw the charges, but it was not only him, it was him, I think, with his brother-in-law and someone else, I don't know. And he said his brother-in-law lost his voice. He cannot speak anymore because of that torture. So his brother-in-law is refusing to withdraw the charges, even if he can, but still, his brother-in-law and this other person, I don't know who he is. He was also refusing to withdraw charges.
The brother-in-law lost his voice. He cannot speak anymore because of that torture. Matlala phoned Sanona and told him the answer was no. When General Sanona testified at this commission in January 2026, he said that call never happened. He said he never met Matlala to discuss the withdrawal, and that Matlala never told him about it.
My proposition to you is that the reason General Sanona sent you these more than 200 pages with all of this confidential information is to try to get you to withdraw, to get Mr. Nangi to withdraw the complaint against his team, that it wasn't actually in General Mkhonazi's interest that he was asking you to do this and sending you the documents, but in his own interests.
Yes, but I wouldn't know that.
The 15th of April 2025, at an apartment in the Pulls in Umhlanga, former Minister Beketele set the meeting up. It was the second attempt. The first was supposed to happen at Matlala's house in Zimbabwe, and Mkhonazi did not come because he had a meeting with the king. Sanona collected Matlala at the oyster box and drove him, even though Matlala says it was walking distance. There were 3 men in that flat. Matlala sat on one couch and Mkhonazi on another, and Sanona sat about 3 meters away with a whiskey. Matlala confirmed that the place is small enough that anyone in it could hear everything being said. That matters because Sanona told this commission he did not hear the discussion at all. Matlala asked Mkhonazi to speak to General Nkua about his purchase orders, and then Mkhonazi asked him something else.
Did you speak to General Mkhonazi about Mr. Steve Motsumi? Just yes or no?
I was asked the question, yes.
I think his answer was, I was asked a question.
Yes.
Okay, let me clarify that answer. When you say you were asked a question, who asked you the question?
General Mkhonazi.
What did General Mkhonazi ask you?
We're talking about Mr. Steve Motsumi.
But what did he specifically ask you? Did he say to you, do you know this person, or what?
I don't have a way to explain it to you because end up disclosing as part of our defense strategy. So
Van den Heever fought for most of an hour to stopping answering it. She argued that his constitutional fair trial rights follow him into the commission, that he holds litigation privilege, and that he cannot be forced to reveal how he intends to defend himself.
An accused person has the right to challenge evidence in a court of law, and part of that challenge of evidence in a court of law has got to do with litigation privilege, of course, the manner in which you present your case.
Hasim answered her with the Constitutional Court. In that judgment, Justice Jafta said that when a person appears before a commission, his status is that of a witness. He is not an arrested person, and he is not an accused person. Madlanga overruled the objection and ordered Matlala to answer.
I said I was inclined to overrule your objection. I now do so. I overrule the objection that Mr. Matlala is legally and indeed constitutionally entitled not to answer Ms. Hasim's question. Mr. Matlala, you will have to answer the question.
The question Mkhwanazi asked him was whether he knew of anyone in Gauteng who was paying General Sibiya. Matlala said, yes. Then he stopped. He would not name them. He said he does not know whether Steve Mutsumi paid Sibiya. He said Mkhwanazi was the one who brought Mutsumi's name into the room, not him. Khumalo pushed him on how he knew Sibiya was collecting it all. Matlala said a third person told him. Pushed further, he described that person as a middleman. Pushed again, he named him.
What did you hear from a third person and not him directly?
I heard him saying that he went to collect money.
And the somebody else, do you know who that somebody else is?
Yes, I know.
And who is that person?
It's Agent Ngosi.
Sergeant Nkosi.
Yes.
I just want to be clear. Are you saying that Sergeant Nkosi is the middleman, or that Sergeant Nkosi is the one who's making payments?
No, I said the middleman.
The middleman.
Sergeant Nkosi. The same Sergeant Nkosi who set up every single meeting between Matlala and General Sibiya. Matlala says he does not know who Nkosi was carrying the money for. Hasim kept asking the same question. How does naming those people incriminate you? And Matlala finally answered honestly. He said he has a case to present in court and that he is already saying a lot. Then he said this.
Already saying a lot here, then meaning that at least leave me with half. I can go to court with half. So don't take everything. So because now you want me to disclose everything here and then I'll be left with nothing. Just don't strip me naked, please.
Commissioner Baloyi went straight at it. On this line of questions, you are not claiming privilege against self-incrimination. You are refusing because it will compromise your defense strategy. Am I correct? Matlala said, you are correct. Commissioner Khumalo said what everybody in that room was thinking. The worry is not that you will implicate yourself. The worry is that you will implicate the people you told Mkhwanazi are paying General Sibiya.
My takeaway from all of this is that your concern is not the worry that you'll implicate yourself. Your concern is the worry that you will implicate those people that you told General Mkhwanazi that General Sibiya is collecting money from.
Madlanga said Khumalo was speaking for him too.
Is you don't want to criminate those people that you know are allegedly giving money to General Sibiya. That's how I see it. And I don't speak for my co-commissioners. I'm speaking only for myself.
You are speaking for me because that's exactly the last point I engaged Mr. Matlala on. I even said, this is only about you because the answer came from you. But otherwise, it's not about you, it's about those other people. So whatever the right that you are asserting may be simply does not make sense in this context.
So run the 3 days together and see what you have got. A man who signed a statement for the state naming senior police officers then walked away from the deal and killed the statement. A man who moved millions through other people's bank accounts with nothing written down anywhere. A man whose only route to a lieutenant general was a sergeant, and who says that same sergeant was the middleman carrying the money to that same general. A man who was handed a torture complaint against the general's own team and asked to make it go away, and who tried. And then the commission asked him to name who is paying, and he said no. Not because it would put him in the dock. He's already in the dock. He said no because he wants to keep something back for the day he stands up in court. The people he is holding back are not his co-accused. Nothing he says here can be used against them the way it could against him. They are just names. Matlala is still under subpoena. There is no date for his return. His trial starts again on the 31st of August, and the question the commission put to him on the 26th of August is the one still sitting there unanswered. Who is paying General Sibiya? And why is the man who knows the answer more worried about them than he is about himself? Who is Matlala protecting? Do share this video with someone that you think needs to hear the story, and if you have subscribed, thank you, it really does help the channel. Do drop your thoughts in the comments, I read all of them, and I will catch you in the next one.